Kevin Green joins me this morning for a technical look, some charts as well, blending some of our fundamental and macro conversation in there too. So KG, I've generally been arguing that I think most tariff outcomes should be priced by this market. I don't know about the economy. I don't have any crystal ball into that. But I kind of thought that weeks of speculation on worst case outcomes would prevent us for a market session like the one we're seeing today. But maybe we got to get one more out of our system. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we are still kind of in a little bit of a compression type of market, right? If you kind of look back on the daily chart, I mean, we're pretty much touching lows of yesterday or the day before,
Yep.
Actually yesterday, if you're looking at the mini S&P 500. So I would put that into a little bit of context here. I think there's a little bit more, obviously, uncertainty. There's a lot of traders that are kind of looking at left tail risk. So if we come in and it's something that's better than expected or it's not as aggressive as the market's expecting, you could see a removal of potential risk in the market that could actually drive equities up maybe in the near term here, Oliver. And when you're starting off today's market, what's really kind of key, you only have about 15 to maybe 20% of stocks now moving higher. You have 24% of stocks actually in the green right now. Only 122 stocks in the S&P 500 that
only
are
one
in the
sector.
green.
Staples.
But we're starting off at a very low base, right? So a lot of the stocks we're actually pretty much at the lows if you're looking at $ADD. So at the end of the day, you actually could get some buyers to kind of step in here. Extreme low, we've seen some buyers really step in. We've had the last two trading sessions starting off negative, ending off positive, or at least retracing some of those gains. And that may actually happen to start off the trading session if you want to be a little bit optimistic. This event's not even happening until 4 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be after the market closes. And we haven't seen any leaks from the White House yet because they probably don't even know what they're doing yet. So I think we just kind of trade. Yeah. So we might just be, if you don't have to put money to work today, Ali, that's what I'm basically saying. If you don't have to put money to work today and you're really uncertain and you don't know what's happening, it's okay to sit on the sidelines. You don't have to pick a direction right now. That is a strategy.
The last thing I want to hear you say, KG, give me permission to trade. No, I think it's a great
you have
point.
permission to do whatever you want. But I mean, like, if you don't know, then,
No, I totally see what you're saying. It's a great point. Because this has been an absolutely disgusting environment for trying to pick a direction. It's been direct to your point. It's been directionless. I mean, even bonds with the massive reversal from last Thursday. So no matter what you're in. Interestingly, the dollar's actually been pretty stable while stocks have gone from highs to lows and bonds have gone from highs to lows. But then this morning, the dollar is getting slammed again. So that one to me is like, to your point, the stuff doesn't come out till 4 p.m. I wonder if maybe you're onto something, KG. I wonder if we haven't gotten any leaks because they don't know what to tell us yet. And maybe that's the market saying, oh, guess what? 2 more weeks of winter, basicly.
Oh, I don't know if it's 2 more weeks of winter.
Well, I don't know. Whatever it may be. How many weeks?
Yeah, I think, I mean, you kind of see, you've seen some interviews and some commentary coming from White House officials that they don't really know, and it's the final decision of the president. And they, there was a report, I believe, from the Wall Street Journal late yesterday that said that there's new proposals being made for the president, another option. Like, that really kind of tells you that the White House really hasn't really pinpointed this here. And I think if we have something that is a little bit less aggressive than the 20% weighted average tariffs across the board, I think the market's going to be maybe okay with that. You heard some commentary coming from Ontario's governor that they would remove all tariffs if the U.S. removed all tariffs.
I saw that on CNBC.
There's a lot of commentary that's happening right now. So there's a long way to go, right? Once again, we are catching a little bit of a bid up around 15 points from when we started here just talking. So keep it up. Very low bar. Let's see what actually happens here. If I'm looking at the intraday action, Ali, if we can kind of just talk about these levels, 5,600 is going to be your first area of intermediate resistance. We get a pop above that, 5,660. I'm looking for the upside here. That kind of aligns with the 200, with the 200 period moving average on the 15-minute chart. Any breakdown, 5,530 is going to be your first area to be able to see some support. We saw some strong buyers yesterday and the day before. Once we kind of got closer to that 5,550, 5,540 area. Let's see if that's going to also happen here today. But once again, vol could crush. That could lead to equities kind of moving up to the upside for now. And I'm not sure if that's going to be the reversal of the overall trend or the primary trend, but that's kind of what I'm looking at today. Just a lot of intraday movement or churn.
There is. Okay, I like the chart. Why don't I actually come back and talk more about what you think with the tariff stuff, though, because you said something there I want to come back to real quick, which is one, that Yeah, the Canadians seem ready to just drop if we drop. So to your point, if they're doing those conversations in the public sphere on cable TV and stuff, I think everybody's kind of playing it by ear. I don't know. I feel like maybe we're not as close to this as we wanted to be at this point. The other one, though, is the rate that you mentioned, the 20% across everything. I was talking with Edison earlier. Correct me if I'm wrong. What has been the worst potential tariff model put out there so far by the administration? Was it that comment they made that was 20% on everything?
Yeah, 20 to 25%. Okay. I think 25 was at the upper end of that range, but that was before we did the auto tariffs. And obviously, it's the question not only of just the tariff or the weighted average itself, and especially when you're kind of looking at autos, it's if you're moving parts back and forth, are we seeing a tax on that each and every time? Because if that's going to be the case, that weighted average balloons up, right? And that's where we don't know. And so I think that clarity also may give the markets maybe a little bit of solace here that, hey, okay, it's just a one-time thing and we can kind of move forward here. But the extreme case is 20 to 25% weighted average. If that does happen across the board, that would be kind of that maximum case. If it's only a 20% weighted average, though, Ollie, on the 15 largest countries that we trade with, that's actually a little bit less, right? That would not be broad-based. That would just be the top. They're calling it the dirty 15. I don't like that term, but the top 15, trading partners here. Well, I mean, that's what you're hearing from Reddit threads and White House. I believe actually Caroline Leavitt's actually mentioned that yesterday in her press conference.
Dirty 30.
15.
All right. So then 25% on everything, basically. Tariffs everywhere, 25%. That's kind of like our bar, basically, in terms of, maybe quality for the economy, high bar in terms of the tariff rate that maybe should be priced in at this point. I remember Jeff Kleintep had a really great chart that just showed potential tariffs and he put the y-axis as potential tariff, total amount, and the thing shot up even bigger, way bigger than Trump 1.0. So to the point here, we got VIX 30 when those types of words were hitting the tape. So I can't shake the logic to me, KG, that unless we hear something that bad, we should have vol coming in. Or at least not going to 30.
Yeah, it depends on the commentary. So if the numbers itself and they just lay out the plan, this is what it is, and no commentary after, I think the market's going to be okay with that. If the commentary after says, hey, we might do more, we might get a little bit more aggressive, then I think that's where you kind of get a little bit more of a vol spike. If there's commentary that says this is permanent no matter what, where this is what we're doing throughout my administration, if that's President Trump, I think you see vol move up a little bit more. So those are the two items that you really do not want to hear. And if so, then we probably could see a vol crush in the market for now. Hard data is still going to be kind of that main focus, right? We'll probably just readjust our focus from one thing to another. And I think that's going to be the key. But you could see a little bit of a unwinding of hedging activity that could push prices a little bit higher. And then some of these sectors that got completely just oversold, especially healthcare. You guys brought it up earlier. Maybe one of those sectors that catch actually a pretty significant bid, because even if they tax pharmaceuticals, just as an example, Ali, you can't move away from that, the structure. So a lot of these healthcare companies still have pricing power. It's not like we're not going to buy antibiotics, So some of those sectors probably could catch a little bit of a meaningful bid here if it's a tamed commentary that complements some of these hard numbers that we're going to get from the White House.
Understood. Good point. I think that does bring us full circle, which is the market maybe this morning was freaking out about this not being over, that maybe it's not going to be ready by today. That would kind of go along the same lines to your point of extending the timeline for uncertainty. But hey, we're coming back. So good conversation. Thanks, KG. Like the tariff stuff. He's always got good charts, but like the logic too. So that was a good convo there. It's a subject of the day.